So before we dive in, I just want to
Mm.
give you a heads up. This conversation is going to be a bit of an emotional roller coaster.
All right.
We're going to explore some deep personal spaces and places that may touch on both the pain you felt and the strength you've built along the way. And I
Hell
want
yeah.
you to know this is a safe space and we'll move through these emotions with care. And the goal is to connect with your story, not just on the surface, but to the heart of who you are.
That-
And if at any point you need to pause, take a break, just do that for yourself. And
Yeah, for sure.
you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Hey,
All
let
right.
me let me let me open the blinds, get some more sunlight.
How would you describe like who you are to the other listeners and other humans that are listening to this? Who are you? How do you define yourself?
I think I define myself by like a a little bit of my like humility,
Mhm.
like that's like a main character trait. Um, but also I think like kindness, but like truth, I feel like I'm very honest with people and I'm very upfront. Like I can kind of like tell it how it is, and I'm not
Mhm.
trying to, beat around the bush. I'm just like, all right, here's what we are,
Mhm.
here's what we're doing, here's where we're trying to go, or here's ways that you can, be better or do better. Um, like not necessarily like too criticizing, but more like constructive. Like I always I want to push people to be better, myself included, but like those around me.
Definitely feel that. So
Yeah.
I know I remember you mentioned being sober and on your healing journey. What's been
Yeah.
one of the most surprising things you've learned about yourself since you started this process?
Um, damn. Um, I think like how little I actually care about it, you know? Like
Mm.
like when I was indulging and using and all that. I used to, I'm like I'm gonna be this person forever. I'm gonna party forever. I'm gonna like smoke weed with my kids and shit. But then, but yeah, I stopped and I kind of just like, damn, why did I even care this much about this like small, like very small part of life? Like I used to be so pressed about it, like getting it, finding it, doing it with others. Um, no matter what the substance was, like, most of them are social. There's like very few that are like about the solo journey.
Facts. Big facts.
Um, but yeah, just how little I cared, I actually cared about it is surprised me.
Thank you for sharing that. And then also your latest song, The Process. What inspired your latest song? What inspired that song and what message are you hoping to convey through that song?
Honestly, bro, literally the process, bro. Like
Okay.
um, it's a lot, bro. Like the journey of an artist, the journey of a human, really, is what inspired that song. Like I know I'm not the only one who has the experience. Like the first line of the song is like waking up in the midst of the night thinking about all the shit I could probably be doing. It's like you sometimes like we toss and turn thinking about things that we could do, should do, could have done, want to do, so it's like um especially now in the age of where comparison is like on the forefront, right? You're comparing your lives to everything that you see on like YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, whatever.
Yeah.
Like you're always thinking about what you should do, what you could do, why you're not doing whatever. Um, so I think really just like understanding that your process is your process, like
Mhm.
obviously it's a shared journey. Like we all walk similar or the same paths, but your process is yours and yours alone, between you and your higher power, whatever it may be. But and
Agreed. And can you share your story and what led you to where you are today?
the sobriety
Like your
or
like
or just or just like my general life story.
yeah, like your general life story. Like, what shaped you in your childhood to get to where you are right now?
I could give you highlights, but because it's a long story.
Yeah, but the
Uh,
highlights, the highlights.
it might have to be a screenplay at some time in the future. But um, pretty much like was born in New York, Lower East Side, New York City, and I was raised between the Lower East Side and East New York and Brooklyn. It's like damn near the furthest part out in Brooklyn. Um, and I had a very dynamic upbringing. Like my dad was very involved in his community, and my mom was very involved in her community.
Mm,
So growing up as their child, my brother and myself were a part of like these larger communities. So
mhm,
a lot of people, our family is like well known um, in the Lower East Side in East New York, and it kind of was interesting growing up, like seeing mom and pop like interact with everybody. But my mom was a pretty much like an activist, a, honestly a pillar in the Lower East Side, and um, we just knew damn near everybody, but Um, but between the two, like, and my dad, he was a DJ. He was like heavy a part of like nightlife. He is a DJ still, but um, so between those two, we just knew a lot of people. So I was always around older folks, like even as a kid. And then like I never understood why I didn't relate to too many people who were my age. But I think emotionally I might have been like a little further ahead because I've seen a little more than others.
mhm,
Um, both negative and positive. Um, but fast forward, middle school, high school, I went to high school in Pennsylvania, and um, my last year of high school, I got a concussion and I found out I had a brain aneurysm. And from that brain aneurysm, like I think like my whole life changed, like it transformed. Like I went from this person, not that I was like super studious or like, grade A student or whatever like that.
yeah,
But I think I was focused on so many like social aspects of life because I was like socialized really well. Like I grew up around a lot of people, so I knew how to engage with others, like people from different backgrounds. Um, and I took that and ran with it. But um, after I had brain surgery, sort of like everything changed. Like I became like chemically dependent on substances, like because I was in the hospital for like a month. I had a craniotomy and a bypass surgery, and from that, a lot of people actually don't really make it that far who've had similar procedures. So I'm extremely blessed to even still be here. But I became like chemically dependent, very socially anxious. Like my first year after surgery, I like jumped and ran back to school like 6 months after the surgery because my conditions at home like were not the greatest. You know, my parents were going through whatever they were going through. So I was like, this is the only place I could go. So went back to school, um, started abusing substances, you know, like kind of like in a like a really dark, weird way. Like more than your average college student that's like smoking weed and drinking beers and shit. um, but I didn't do well in school. Obviously, like I just had brain surgery, so I lost my financial aid and came back to New York, and I kind of like tapped into like what I knew best, like hustling and you know like making money, um, doing what I did, hustle and bustle, um, and I think honestly like maybe a year and a half after being home, I think we might have met each other sometime
Yeah.
in that time period. Ooh, that's how true it is. Excuse me, I'm gonna blow my nose real quick.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, I think somewhere along in that timeline between like 2016 and 2018, I think we finally met.
Yeah.
Um, but I was like still very deep in like that mindset. And then like on top of that, I was feeling like a lot of guilt um about like not finishing school and uh you know my parents being the people they are, like a lot of people in the community are like, oh, you know, he's gonna be the first kid, you know, get a college degree, family, all that, you know. So it was like I think I just had a lot of guilt. Um and I even sometimes I still do, bro, you know, like and that's again that's part of the process. Um but so what really inspired the change was like a brick wall, you know, like
Mm.
I didn't even get a chance to really like to be like, oh, maybe I should stop for like a month or something like that. It wasn't like it wasn't the choice that I made. You know, God was pretty much like, nah, bro, like you're done. Like you're done. You know, so I hit a brick wall like at like you know, 500 miles an hour. And I ended up in the hospital again for a month again. Um, and this was in 2019. And honestly, like the music video kind of highlights that experience
Mhm.
in the hospital. Like it's like it's a little hyperbolized and but it's kind of like it's kind of crazy. Um, But after that month in the hospital, I did like 2 weeks in rehab and I came back home and like everything was different, bro. Like everything changed. I was like 20 pounds heavier because I was actually like eating meals for a month and a half straight. Um, but like I came back home and I was like, damn, everything is different. Like you know, relationships were different. Um, but that's when I like dove even deeper into my musical journey. And I honestly could say like if I didn't have that experience, I wouldn't be in the place that I am now, which is like working with amazingly talented artists and working at the studio and having the skill set that I have and like being able to refine it so much. Like, yeah, I wouldn't be here without the process that I've endured, my process, you know. Uh, yeah.
Yo, thank you for sharing that. And that's that gave me more context because when I did watch the video, The first thing that popped up was when you told me that story. Remember with the homies that did the weird
Mhm.
thing with the substances. That's what came to mind when I saw the video. How you told me like from that moment, what they did made you go to a facility.
Mm.
So that's what I associated with the video. Um, what matters to you most in this chapter of your life?
Honestly, I could say friendship, bro. Like
Mm.
companionship. Cause like it like I was like in that moment, I was in the crib with like 6 or 7 homies, and then like I ended up smoking something that kind of made me lose it, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know what the fuck was going on. But I was, yeah, I also like at the time again, like 3 weeks before that situation, like I had smoked like DMT, bro. Like so
Mm.
I was to acknowledge my own responsibility or my own accountability for the fragility of my brain and where it was like 2019, 4 years ago, I just had brain surgery. Now I like smoke DMT, right? And so my brain was like so fragile, bro. And I think there's so many factors into why I had a break, like why my shit just broke and I kind of lost it. Um, but regardless, the most important thing to me now is like the people who are still here. Because being the person that I was, being the person that comes from like the family that I'm in, like companionship is everything, bro. Like I've there's some friendships that like are more the bond is stronger than I have with some family members, you know? Like not even like in a crazy way, like and disrespecting my family, but I don't get to see some family members that much. Like my family lives in the South, like South Carolina and shit, and like North Carolina, Georgia, so I don't get to see them very often. Um, but like once I stopped doing, my little 1, 2, whatever, like there's a lot of people that left my life. Like once I was the person who like didn't drink anymore, a lot of people left my life, you know. But I think I also made the decision to leave a lot of lives also because I know like this is the participation. This is what we're indulging in when
Yeah.
we're together, you know. And I had to take a period of time to like not be around it to like grow and build my strength to be able to even be at a bar, bro, or at a club, to even now working in the studio, I got clients fucking smoking, you know, and I'm just there. I'm like,
So does it ever feel like does it ever feel tempting still? Like smelling
nah,
it, being around it? No?
nah. I like weed is cool, bro. Weed is tight, but um, I like the flowers still looks cool, and like it's just a cool thing. Like there's a cool science behind it, but
Yeah.
it's not enticing for me to like um to be in it the same way.
Got you. Got you. So you mentioned the most valuable thing that matters for you in this chapter is friendship, companionship.
Hmm.
And has music ever felt like an escape for you? If so, what specific feelings or situation were you avoiding?
Escape, I don't know about escape. I think
Mm.
it's more like grounding actually. Like it it's a way for me to like work through certain feelings. Like
Mm.
if if someone were to like look in my catalog, they would see, all right, this kid is like angry about something, right? But there's also songs that are like, very beautiful and like um that are like, you know, conversation starters and trying like building on the the world community of just life and like the realities of things that people have had to experience that look like me, but also people that have had experiences that are me, that are just humans, that everybody kind of like some challenges. A lot of I don't want to say everybody, but challenges a lot of people have had to, experience. Um, but yeah, I don't think I look to escape anymore. I think I tried to
Hmm.
uh, prior to like 2019. Like I tried to make music that like took me away from my reality and like very physically ran routes that would take me away from my reality.
Yeah.
But what I needed most was the music to bring me back to reality.
Mm,
Speak more truth.
I feel that. I feel that. And is there a particular pain or experience that feels harder for you to talk about? And what makes it challenging to talk about it?
Mm. I think I think it's all in the same thread, right? Like it's hard, excuse me. Uh it's hard to talk about relationships. It's hard to talk about trauma. It's hard to talk about like um mental hurdles, like all of those things are challenging. Like but I but I actually like I enjoy talking about them. Like it I think I'm in a very different place than a lot of other people are. Both at my age and like also from where I'm at, like I'm in New York City, this is like this has become the mecca of like drill music, like nobody nobody's talking about like mental health, like I like I just went to my therapist. Nobody's on some shit like that, right? Like
Yeah.
so I don't know. I'm just like very uniquely in my own pocket because most songs you will get like some feeling, I don't know, but deeper thoughts.
And that's valid. That's valid. When you're hurting, what coping mechanism do you lean on? And do you find they truly help you heal?
Mm, honestly, a lot of times I like pray and go on a walk, and I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't enjoy like a little retail therapy, you know,
Mhm.
like I'll go on a walk, I'll pray, and I'll be like, all right, let me look on Depop for something. Let me find a cool item I've been neglecting myself, or like
Mm,
trying to have some discipline to like not buy, until I had the ability to afford an extra cost, right?
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think sometimes you gotta like treat yourself. I don't know if you're on a diet or something, you know, not like a serious one that for like health complications, but like if you're vegan, go get like vegan ice cream, or if you used to love honey buns, find a way to like go to somebody's bakery and get a cinnamon roll or something. I don't know, but treating yourself is very important. Loving yourself.
I
You
definitely agree. I definitely agree on that. And has there ever been a specific moment when you face racism, and what was the experience like for you, and what emotions did it like evoke in your inside of you at that time?
Like in life?
Yeah.
Oh man. I went to school in Pennsylvania, bro.
Oh.
Like like Dutch, Amish County, Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
So like racism was prevalent, like all the time. I think in my second year, we were at football camp and there was like somebody who like drove by the football field and they and they honked their horn. They're like, hey, go home, niggers. I was like, oh
Oh.
shit. I'm like, yo, this is a movie. I'm like, I've never seen this in my life, yo. Like, word. I'm I'm from the Lower East Side, New York City. You know, you try and drive by, you might get chased.
Yo.
Once you stop at that red light, somebody might come up to your car, punch your window out. But yeah, nah, it was a lot of different experiences with racism. Um, but I don't know. I think like I've become more confident in like myself, like just I I am who I am, you know, like
Yeah.
what I look like, color of my skin doesn't change the fact that like I'm a dope individual who's had very valid experiences and they're equally, if not more valuable um than my counterparts, right?
Mm.
Like my experience is elite as well.
I
Right?
definitely
Like
agree to
yeah, like
that.
I've been through some shit. But I've been in like, you know, amazing classrooms and I'm a well-read individual, but I also like I've had experiences that, you know, may have challenged me, that have forced me to grow in ways that others may not have. So when it comes to like whether it's blatant racism or sub racism, you know, whatever the case is, I'm just like I see it, I feel it, I don't internalize it, and I'm just keep pushing. I do acknowledge it though. Like, my partner, she's Irish, so we have conversations about shit like this all the time. Yeah, we're put in a lot of interesting circumstances.
Like being together.
Hmm. Yeah, like being on the subway and like people interacting with us as a couple, and then like even like being at, you know, family functions or friend functions, you
Yeah.
know, like processing like different experiences together. It's pretty cool.
Yo, and that's valid. And the reason that I even asked you about racism, I know in the process you said no more complaining. This shit is basic. Everyone knows that the world is still racist. You got to take it. I was like,
Hmm.
that sounded like growth because like that's a real thing. But it's like we all know it, but it's like it sounded like in that verse is don't get caught up in it. Like it is what it is type of thing.
Yeah, bro. It's like there's some people who are like so uncomfortable that their display of racism might actually show as like warm, welcoming, and comforting, but like beneath the surface, they're actually like super uncomfortable and like kind of like clutching pearls and shit. But you know, that's life. It comes with it, you know. And it is life is also evolved, bro. Like if you are a person who is still, you know, more concerned about the color of someone's skin rather than, you know, what what their heart's about, what their soul's about, then like they're the people that aren't growing. So, you know, you can either encourage them to grow and like show them the best version of yourself, or let them be where they are and have them figure it out later. You know, it's not your job to teach people.
Definitely. Definitely agree. And what is something you wish others understood about the pain you've experienced and how it affects you?
I don't think a lot of people understand how lonely, how like alone I've been, right? Like it's it's kind of it's kind of like I've had these experiences, but I made them I I I like got through it and made it seem like I didn't go through anything. Like there's homies who I've seen recently who I haven't had like a real sit down conversation with in
Mm-hmm.
years, bro. And some of them didn't even know that I had the experience of like being in the hospital, you know, and um and like going to rehab. Like they like, yo, I didn't even know. I'm like, yeah, you wouldn't know because I didn't speak to it, right? So
Mm,
there's like a little, again, like a little bit of accountability I have to take on my end because I wasn't vocal about, yo, I was just in the whatever, whatever. Like I'm not an emotional social media person. I'm very like quiet as kept. Like what I'm going through is my experience. I don't
mhm,
need to like let the world know. But I'm coming around to that. I think I had to figure out a way to like let the world know in a constructive way that's not like chaotic. And I'm just like, you don't know what I've been through. I was in the hospital and I had to go through this. Blah, 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 blah. And more so like I had this experience. This is what it felt like. This is the exaggerated version of what it felt like. Right. Now let me break it down. Now let me break it down to you. Let me give you how I ended up at this experience. What came before that experience? And I am the version existing after this experience. You
mhm.
know? Um, so it's pretty cool to to be at the place that I am. But I would like people to know like it has been a very like lonely journey because I, I mean, it's me. I had to do a lot of like internal work, you know, a lot of self work to even share, you know, that to share the fact that I was lonely, you know,
Yeah.
like me, my mom, and the cat for a couple years. Yeah,
So, and I know you mentioned the part about like the homies being around and not knowing. And I also feel like a lot of people don't even know how to go about having those conversations. So let's say the homies are listening to this. How can they go about having this conversation with you? Like, what can they ask you that would challenge you to, speak on it?
yo, let's go to the park. Yo, let's get some food. Yo, let's whatever. And then, yo, I didn't know blah blah blah. Or yo, why didn't you say X, Y, Z, you know, and just like speak on it? But like beating around the bush isn't helpful either, you know, like shying away from conversations is not helpful. It's like just come like confront confrontation. You know, even if it's like awkward or hard, like conversation will can change the narrative of a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is probably why like social media is so like content heavy or content focused because they're like creating conversation about literally everything, bro. Like there's conversation about how to prep a meal. There's conversation about what you need, you know, if you're preparing to have a baby. There's conversation about mental health and wellness, right?
Yeah.
Like there's conversation about everything, you know. So we are being encouraged to talk about it more.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be on like the social scale of putting it on TikTok or putting it wherever, but it is helpful to see those things and to have it be normalized and to be like, oh, word, like I don't have to be superstar rapper guy, or I don't have to be, supermodel makeup girl, or I to like have my words heard,
Mhm.
to have my thoughts like publicized and people giving feedback, negative or positive, honestly. Like,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, we're normalizing conversation, and that's important. That's beautiful.
I definitely 100% agree on that. And when you envision like your dreams coming true, what does that look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
Mm. It looks like, honestly, more time.
Mm,
It doesn't seem like it makes sense, but because like I'll have the same 24 hours, but I think in those 24 hours I won't be worried about how much did I make today, you know?
I
Like
got you.
I'll have opportunities to like get sums of money that can get me through to the next project, or the next show or whatever it is, for me to be like, all right, like I don't have to go out and like sell some of my clothes, to be able to pay this bill, or like I don't have to go and like, bro, tonight I have a 12-hour session, 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. But like I don't want to have to need that, you know, and
I,
subject myself to like, oh, I have to take this because I need the money, which then takes away from my time with my loved one, or like whoever else, you know.
mhm.
Uh,
That's
so
yo, that's clear. Like that's like where you said it sounds really clear, and it reminded me of the conversation I have with my homegirl that's more privileged, and she's mentioned like being rich, just having that options and choices when you're not. Like she was like saying like how the system is made. It's like the people that aren't fortunate aren't really living because they are like they don't really have the option to live. They're like it's limited for them.
yo, bro, I want to come out to Detroit tomorrow. I want to hop on that flight. I want to look online and get a flight right now. Come meet with you in person and be like, "What up, fool?" Like, you know, and just kick it, get some food, right? But I can't, you know. I may be able to, but obviously, like different things come with different responsibilities, you know. So that freedom, it might seem like freedom if you don't have responsibilities, but like, I
Mhm.
got I got other things I have to take care of as well. Um, but I think it's literally having the option that makes a difference. You know?
Got you, and that's huge because I feel like the American dream has made it where like at least when my parents came here, like you had to work a lot of hours and
Mhm.
and even from your son, the process, it's not about the materialistic items. It's not even about any of this. Like your health, for example. Like, yeah, those are major things.
Bro, it's serious, man. I don't know, but again, bro, like maybe life works in a way where like maybe I'm the person who had to have this experience for the people around me, you know,
Mm,
so that I could be the person to like encourage whatever change or whatever adaptation for us all to grow like together, you know.
mm,
Because I will say, like, through the experience from brain surgery, to substance abuse, to sobriety, you know, finding my way back to like myself, the true individual self that I am. Like, I've I've seen a lot of change in like my family and friends. Like people are like more aware and like understanding, like critical thinkers around things things of that, like I can like I'm blessed to say that I don't have like too many people like abusing substances around me. And
Mhm.
maybe that's the world that I've built, but I also like I can like take account and look back, like, so even some of the people who are like a little further outside the circle, they're kind of like they've been able to look at me and be like, all right, like this is the guy that we knew was gonna smoke weed till he was like 100 years old, you know, who this is the guy that parties, that like loves a good time, loves to make people laugh. And
Mhm.
I wasn't even like on some like destructive party guy. Like
Yeah,
I just yeah, like I enjoyed life, but I also like had a little too much fun. And I think had it fun sort of turned into like a coping mechanism for what lied deeper. Like I didn't even process the fact that I had brain surgery, bro. Like a life altering surgery. Like what, bro? Like, and the fact that like I live to see another day, tell the story. Like it's crazy,
that is
But I was so caught up in the pain of that I was just like the only thing I could turn to was like I felt that the only thing I could turn to was the substances.
wow.
Yeah, crazy.
That is heavy.
Yeah, bro. But
Damn.
me and God, we got a good relationship, and we got a good thing going. God has kept me on this earth for many seasons, and I'm here for a reason. It just may be this to tell the story, but I think there's a larger purpose in it
I
for sure.
100% agree. 100% agree.
Yeah, and I'm not alone anymore.
Yo, shout out to Romeo. Bro.
um, but
Yo.
yeah, bro,
Mhm.
that's it, man. But I mean, like, there's a lot of smaller details in the story that I'll conveniently leave out.
Valid. That's valid. That's
Uh,
valid. But the story
uh,
unfolds with time. With time.
yeah, yeah.
Um, who or what do you turn to when you need emotional support, and why do they provide comfort for you?
Uh, honestly, like God, bro, myself, um, my partner, which I'm very like extremely blessed to have.
Mhm.
Um, and honestly, bro, like my my small support unit, like my mother and my brother, even my uncle, man. My uncle, I love that dude. But like I don't think it's less about like, oh, I'm going through this and I had to vent and all that. It's more so just like being present with them and like rubbing shoulders with them and like because we all go through a lot of shit, bro. But like to see other people like still experience joy and still experience like having a good time makes me like I'm like, yeah, man, I will be all right. Like there is another 24 when the clock hits 0000, right? Like there's always another opportunity on the other side of that minute, of that second, of that hour. Like there's more to life. There's always another thing is always gonna come, and like my support support system is for me is that constant reminder. Um, so again, it's like I don't turn to them to like vent and talk about every single detail, but
Yeah.
mostly just to just share smiles and laugh. And I like making them laugh, honestly. Like that that helps me a lot.
It's so it sounds like you being able to be a sense of comfort to them is also like healing and it gets you through and also sharing moments and realizing like this is a human experience that's done with other people.
Yeah, man. It's hard to trek this journey alone. It's
Mm.
possible. It's possible, but it's not the most enjoyable.
Oh,
Like even if you see monks, man, they sit together in silence, but because they're in silence together, that like changes the whole experience, you know?
facts. Facts. When you
But
feel most at peace, can you describe what that moment looks like and feel like for you?
mm, I don't know if I'm there yet.
Valid.
Yeah, I don't know if I've had that experience yet. Like I'm very much like still in the process. Like everything that we spoke about is like real time. Like,
Mm.
like like I would say like sleeping, but even then, like it's days I really only get like 3 or 4 hours of sleep because I'm like so heavy on like the grind. And that's like that's my own choice. Like I can take a day and get more rest.
Yeah.
But I actually nah. Maybe I will say like sleep makes me happy, bro. Sleep makes me
No,
happy.
facts.
Sleep makes me very happy, and I do feel very at peace for like for like that 1 minute window when I first wake up and I'm like, oh, I just had some good ass sleep. Wow. But then like I check my phone and it's like I'm like, oh, all right, there
Yo.
goes. But the phone is like anti-peace. That shit is like that like that is just chaotic, just straight
Bro,
chaos. It makes me think about everything I don't want to think about.
I agree. I 1,000% agree. Like there's moments when I wake up and not be by my phone feels way more peaceful when I'm by my phone. And it never fails.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. Like there's no I don't know how to explain it, but like I this it's just like oh man, get this away from me. Like I don't want this. Like yeah, it's wild, bro.
Something made me just think about, I wonder, are we trauma bonded to our phones? Because it's like it does serve its purpose, but it does come with a lot of negativity.
Yeah, no, I can definitely say yes to that because I was just with my homie yesterday, bro, and like he's going through some things, but like he was like this on the phone, and it was like the only thing that could like make him laugh. I was like, bro, I was like, you need to get off of this phone, bro. This is
Yo,
I'm like this is not good. It's not healthy. Like for that to be the only thing to like bring you joy, it's like watching things of other people's lives, and I don't know. It's not for me.
yeah, that's wild. It's like people are,
That I will say that has been my biggest challenge between me and like the finish line essentially, right? Like not that success is the finish line, it's really just the start of another race.
Mhm.
But like because I'm not so glued to my phone and like so attached to like that part of my life, I think it's like kind of like staggered me a little bit where
Mm,
I'm like, because I will say, bro, like the the generation of kids like below us, because they have that attachment to their phones, they're like they're quicker to like make a mistake and like roll with it online, like they don't really care as much about it. It's like they care a whole lot about it and they don't care as much about it, if that
mm.
makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Like they're like, oh, whatever, like I'll just post whatever. I don't care, you know. But like they're also watching and looking and seeing everything happening. So like without even knowing what's trending or whatever, they're like making something that's like relevant, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of nuts, man. Like
It's like they're
I had
intuitively tapped in.
yeah, they're part of the algorithm.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And what's one thing consistently that brings you joy, even on your toughest days?
Uh Trader Joe's white chocolate cranberry cookies.
What does that taste like? 'Cause I've never had it. What is, how would you describe it, the taste?
Soft, chewy, rich, and then like I feel like a little healthy because there's cranberries in it. And
Mm.
it's like oatmeal cranberry white chocolate. Mm. And I yeah, just rich. If it's amazing. Those always make me happy for real.
Now I gotta try that just to get a
Man,
review.
Trader Joe's, man. I think they're like $4 something for
Okay.
a box of like 8 or 10.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, yeah, bro. The, the, those genuinely make like I see them and I'm like, oh man. I'm like, let's let's get it.
Does anyone that's listening to this remember Trader Joe's cranberry white chocolate cookies?
Yeah. Oatmeal white chocolate cranberry.
And it's the oatmeal version?
Nah, they're like oatmeal chocolate
Oh,
white
okay. Chocolate.
oatmeal white chocolate cranberry cookies.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm embarrassed to say that that's my sweet treat.
Hey, we all have a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
What what thoughts or worries tend to keep you up at night?
You say that again?
What thoughts or worries tend to keep you up at night?
Um, I don't know, bro. I think like uh shit, man, like purpose usually, you know, purpose and passion and the common ground between the two, like is my passion my purpose
Mm,
and it is my purpose my passion, right?
yeah.
Um and I'm like obviously uh following my storyline, like a lot of my purpose is like with people for people, you know. Um, and I'm like, am I in pursuit of my purpose through my passion? And it's like, yes, I make music, I tell stories.
Mhm.
Um, but it's like then I get into this space of like, oh, is this the right way to do it? Like,
Mhm.
should I be making more uh conscious based like peacekeeping type of music? Should I be making more aggressive music? Should I be trying to like attack the youth and make more modern type of music with like the message sort of tucked in there? um But yeah, I think a lot about purpose, bro. Not necessarily like belonging. I think belonging was like earlier chapters. Like I wanted to feel like I belonged to something or
Mhm.
some place. But now I really just kind of just like, all right, you take me or you don't take me, but either way, I'm still getting. I got to do what I got to do. I got to fulfill this purpose.
Facts, facts. I can resonate with that. Like
Yeah.
definitely purpose. And also like when I said determination today, like dang, like because I to me there is a destination, a milestone I do want to reach to. And it's like would the sacrifice be worth it in the end? Because part of it sometimes also entails of, for example, when I went to New York, I wasn't around my family for that time's frame. Like, did this was this all worth it? Like, I know my family won't
Mm.
be here forever. Like, are these decisions like, am I gonna have some type of repercussion from it?
Mm.
You know,
It's
so
it's interesting though, because I think like you not that it's like a choice that you make and then that's it. That's the choice forever, right? It's like a momentary thing. Like, all
hmm
right, I'm making this choice right now
hmm
for this period of time. Um, and I am okay dealing with the repercussions of this decision, of this act, right?
hmm
Like sometimes I think about it like you can justify like anything in your mind or you can like rationalize it uh and make it make sense for the time being, which is why like I think a lot of our young kids out here justify whatever it is that they're doing, whether it's scamming, you know, trapping or uh stealing from people, robbing people. It's like there's they have some justifying cause for why they're doing it. They're like, nah, I'm only doing this now because I have to do this or I have to, provide for whoever or get
hmm
whatever. And essentially, like, there's not much difference in and why we're doing what it is that we do. You know,
Fact.
there's really not like we're all trying to be providers of something, and we're trying to figure out something um to get to a place or even just to get to like the next meal,
hmm
the next month of rent. Um, and it's kind of nuts, man. It's kind of nuts that
It
operating that way.
it is. It is. And I love how you put it like that because it gave me a lot of clarity just hearing that as well. Like that helped a lot. So thank you for that. And
Mm,
in moments of difficulty, what helps you feel safe and comforted?
ooh, that's tough. The first thing that popped into my mind was a very like arrogant answer, and I was just like, I'm B, bro. Like there's no stopping me. Like
Mm,
I'm I'm like so deep in my bag that I'm just like me and God are like this. Like God
mm,
is not letting anything get in my way to like to like
yeah.
I'm like like on some hop keto uh taekwondo Bruce Lee jujitsu shit like I'm like I'm flowing bro like there's no stopping me at
Facts.
all but in a more generalized way like what comforts me is like the the sunsets and the moon rises.
Mm,
The sun rises and the moon sets. Like there's always another chance, always another opportunity every single day. Like I feel like sometimes I even am so dedicated to the studio because there's always another opportunity. Like I don't know the artist that's gonna come in for their session today. Or like I don't know who might just stop by and like say what's up today, you know?
Facts.
And I think that's even the lure of New York or like these larger cities. It's like people go there because they're like, nah, I might just run into the opportunity that I need to change my life, you know. Um, but
Definitely agreed.
but yeah, there's each day brings a new opportunity, and what brings me comfort is literally that, just new chances.
I hear that. So like from your first from how you first answered, so it sounds like the self-assuredness in yourself and knowing that God is right by your side, that keeps you going. On top of that, the the idea of every day is a new opportunity also keeps you going because it's like it can happen anytime now, type of
Mm-hmm.
feeling. And that can change your whole trajectory, like any moment, anytime. So like that
Mm-hmm.
hope as well. Sounds like it keeps you going.
Hey, bro.
Got you.
Yeah. Sorry,
And
I'm tired, man. I got home late. I got home like 5 o'clock. Though.
we had three left. We three left and we done. We done.
Nah, you cool.
Um, reflecting on your childhood, how do you think those experiences have shaped your emotional responses today?
I'm I think like very much so. Like they are like the most influential.
Mm.
Um, my brother used to hate me, bro, or not hate me, but like my brother and my mom and my dad, they used to be like, you always like I had this attitude, like oh well, like it is what it is, kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time I lost my Game Boy at like Funplex or some shit like that, some indoor amusement park, and I was like, oh wow. Like usually kids cry when they lose their toy or like their game or whatever. And my mom was like, I think my mom was so heated. She was like, bro, you just lost this thing that we just got you. Like, are you serious? And you don't care about it? And I was like, it's not that I don't care, but it's life. You got to move on. You can either cry and sulk about it, or like wait for it to be revealed to you for its whereabouts,
Mm.
right? Like, but if you sit and sulk about things, then they're probably gonna affect you more than if you just like move on and wait for the answer to come along, or for whatever to happen to you for you to literally move on, bro.
I agree with that.
So,
I agree with that.
like,
What's a moment in your life that you're most grateful for? And how do you feel like it shaped who you are right now?
oh man, that's heavy. There's a lot, but
Mm.
there's two like in particular I have in mind. But like my my grandmother before she passed away, um in 2015 when I was in the hospital for the surgery,
Mm.
she came and sat at the hospital every day, bro, for like a month, dog. Like she worked in Midtown. Mind you, this woman worked literally every day of her life until like let me see, maybe like 6 or 7 months before she passed, bro. Like she worked hard, but she would go from work, come sit with me in the hospital every day, bro, every day. Like, and like that's something I'm like extremely grateful for. And that is one thing that has helped me get through a lot. Like just remembering that moment, like, you know,
Yeah.
um, that's one thing I'm extremely grateful for. And then another moment was uh, my mom, this the matriarchs, man, they women hold it down for the world. Um, but my mom came and visited me second years later when I was in the hospital, in the psych ward.
Mm.
Um, she visited me, and she brought me like some holy text, right? And I think it was like a trifold pamphlet or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think like it was a combination of like being extremely happy to see her, um, like kind of feeling like I like was on the other side of like this crazy journey that I was on. Um, and then also just like how blessed, excuse me, how blessed it actually was. But she handed me this pamphlet, and I opened it, and bro, it was like the brightest light that I have ever seen. Like it felt like, you know how people like, oh, don't go towards the light,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was like that bright of a light, and like I opened the shit and I just start crying, bro, like bawling, bro. Like, oh my God, I never, and like that that was that inspired me even more to like, all right, I know this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I'm at, where life has me at for this moment. It was like it was literally like a reconnection, spiritual awakening, like reconnecting with myself,
Mhm.
reconnecting my mind to my body, to my spirit and my soul, reconnecting to God for real. Like I don't even mean to be like preachy or anything like that, but like, everything stems from like love, and God is love, bro. Like
Definitely.
God is the existence of like all of it, all the emotions. But, you know, essentially it comes down to love, bro. Like,
Mhm.
when you love something so much, you care for it that much more. You um you put time and effort and energy, and you breathe life into it, you know.
Yeah.
Literally like God breathed life. You breathe life into the things that you care for. And that's we sitting here breathing life into what it is, that a journey that we might, be on for a long time, you know.
Man, this is a life journey for a fact.
Right.
Yeah. So to close it out,
Yeah.
what affirmation, quote, or lyric from your song would you like to share with the listeners as a source of inspiration?
Uh um, Honestly, let me see. I would just probably just stay aware, bro. Like awareness of your surroundings.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not saying be paranoid and always question everything, but be vigilant and like pay attention to like the little things going on around you. You know, like life gives you signs and messages. So like staying aware, I think it's like at the end of at the end of the verse. Just like staying aware with my eyes low. That's it. Like
Hmm.
it's like you don't gotta be, you know, telling, you know, but just stay aware.
Stay aware. Thank you so much for connecting and also sharing your truth for anyone that's listening to also feel heard and seen. I feel like we do live in a world where a lot of things feel like isolated. So these conversations are definitely important and they're definitely needed and should be normalized more than what we're currently getting. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you for your time and energy as well.